Hello, everybody. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the work and the assignments for this week. This week, we are going deep into whiteness and white supremacy. I want to offer this kind of big picture analysis of what it means to study whiteness and white supremacy. Studying whiteness and white supremacy can be seen as studying the whole structure of racial hierarchies, because one could argue that the whole point of the construction of this thing that we call race is that one group of people can be on top exerting power over others. So for the purposes of this class, we study whiteness so that we can understand something about oppression and potential liberation. I also want to acknowledge that this moment in class is often really challenging for my fellow white people. Many of us white folks have never really had to think about our own whiteness, and this process can be really painful. Also, a lot of white people genuinely feel like they don't have a lot of power. So talking a lot about power and privilege when you're in a situation where you're super broke or disempowered in some other kind of way is really strange. My fellow white people, I invite you to hang tough and experience the feelings of being intensely raced people. And remember, anger and critique at the system of white supremacy is not the same thing as hating white people. Let's try not to take everything personally. So, we got a lot of readings this week from our book, White Privilege, Essential Readings on the Other Side of Racism. So we start out with this piece called Representing Whiteness in the Black Imagination by the amazing Black feminist scholar Bell Hooks. And then we examine some of the ways that science was used to classify people by race that happens in the chapter, The Roots of Racial Classification. Then we have two awesome historical pieces about the construction of whiteness. We've got a piece called How White People Became White Folks, and we have Karen Brodkin's piece called How Jews Became White Folks. All of these chapters are demonstrating real histories of racial constructions, and they're dispelling the myth that white supremacy happened naturally or by magic. You also have part 2 of the video, Race, the Power of an Illusion, to watch. And after you finish your readings and video, your assignments for this week are to write a reading reflection that responds to the 2 questions that I've asked you, and participate in a small group discussion. In your discussion this week, you'll share reflections on an example from your own life in which whiteness was or is invisible. So try to get started on the discussion early in the week so that your group members have time to respond to you before midnight on Monday when all of your homework is due. Remember that you can always post questions to the question and answer discussion forum, and if you have any other concerns, please email me directly. I hope you have a great week.